Hello everyone, welcome to your pet parents reading for July 2025. This is for all pets that are born under an earth sign, so Taurus, Virgo, Capricorns. I do timestamp below, so if you don't like to watch the process, you can just skip ahead and receive the messages on sort of what's kind of up ahead for your pets or pet for July. I will share that this group was feeling like a group of animals kind of known for being like reliable, grounded, stable, kind of energy wise. So I would say this is probably the type of animal personality that they're probably found more times just sitting around being observant. Watching everybody, sitting next to you calmly. That's kind of what I'm trying to describe here. So I started with the fire sign. So we're going to do the same spread that ended up in their sign. And we'll just do it for all four groups. So we're going to do one main theme that kind of connects everybody. And then we're going to do 4 cards. And we'll do 2 decks of cards. And we'll do some charms on top of those cards as well for just some additional messages. We'll see here how they want to lay out the cards. Which one's going to be their theme card. Sure, I got room for all 4. The other group, the fire signs, had a sticky card as well. It was all about something to focus on. And interesting enough, it was in the last position as well. So I wonder if all the animals are going to do that. Kind of talk about the month ahead, and then here's what we want to focus on. Okay, let's get our other cards. Additional clarity, additional messaging. Make sure you can see your pet in here. You can hear them talking to you, feel their personality, be prepared for July with them. And I'll dig into the charms. Just letting them discard what they don't need. And now we'll start to see what they want. That's interesting how it's kind of connecting the 2 cards here. So I wonder if the messages are connected. So I'm going to discard that one. That one felt incorrect. But look what it's pointing at. It's pointing at my milestone month or milestone year. Very interesting. Has to do with the whole world, their heart growing. Got some beautiful miracles over here. Oh, I was talking about something to focus on this time, and we've got 2 of my watch out caution charms here. Interesting. Okay. Got a lot of heart balance here. Some love. I don't know if this is a new addition or support. Feels more supportive. Supporting love here from your pet. Got some vocal pets here, which feels a bit contradictory because in the intro I said this is sort of the quiet, grounded group. But they're pairing it with silence. So we've got silence and volume. That'll be interesting to get into. I don't know if their home environment is flip-flopping between these 2 or if it used to be silent and now the volume is pumped up here. Okay. So earth sign pets. These are all pets born under earth signs. So Taurus, Virgo, Capricorn. Let's see what their connective theme is, why they're all coming together. We have this beautiful message of a journey. And in the intro, I mentioned how this is a milestone month or milestone year or both. July 2025 seems like a milestone for them here in terms of how they're aware of their journey here. Just kind of tuning in here because I feel like it's their journey in terms of relationship with you. they're pulling me into their third eye, their psyche here, how they communicate with you. So I don't know if you felt the same. I don't know if you noticed the same, but has your communication with them or your bond overall improved? Or that's going to be the theme for the month. It is going to improve. Maybe they're taking some classes, right? Training classes, so their behavior, their demeanor is better, or maybe you've introduced them to a new partner, and this is their bond improving with that person, right? And therefore their bond with you improves because you're excited, you're congratulating them. I'm just going to put that there so I remember it's connecting the two. All right, so let's start over here. So I was saying how it's interesting that they're pairing my charms that mean distance or silence with loud and volume. So we have quietness and volume, bit of both. I'm pausing because I started with communication, and going from a position of silence to talking is communicating. There's that bond again. I wonder if these earth signs, I wonder if quite a few of your pets, those of you that came to this reading, if they're rescues or they had a trauma of some kind, or they came overseas, like they're an adopted pet from another country, and sort of the end of their, I shouldn't say end, maybe the progress in their growth here with you, the trust, warming up to you, right? The theme here was the bond improving here in July, going from not talking to you to talking to you here, communicating with you. Look at that. I choose strength. So this more kind of quiet, stable, grounded, demeanor, energy that I was getting, they're choosing to be courageous with you. You're inspiring them to choose strength. It could just be an animal growing up, going from infancy stage to that next kind of adulthood stage. Maybe they're a little bit taller, a little bit longer, so they're a little getting used to their bigger body here, and you're kind of encouraging them here. That's really nice. Then we have creativity. So we have the charm here of creativity. So you may be using different creative approaches, right, to bond with them. And they're acknowledging that you've been quite creative. This is also my charm for childlike or childhood, which to me, I'm seeing how we as humans approach children and animals softer. That acknowledgement of that soft approach here, the bristles of the brush. So sort of your soft, gentle way with them of encouraging them, going from silence here to communicating. Your different creative ways of communicating with them. Who knows? Maybe you're just a household that's integrated bells or buttons. Pets are tapping on bells or using their beaks, right? So you might be in that process to improve communication. That would make the house louder. Bunch of bells and buttons going off. Oh, look at the heart chakra just lighting up, eh? It's almost like those games, right? The parks where you either put your thumb on it and it lights up and tells you if you're a good match or whatnot, or you use the hammer and it kind of lights up. Like that's the picture they're giving me here of like their heart just lighting up stage by stage by stage by stage here with you. And for a king, he's sitting quite calmly, on his throne. He's just kind of observing. He's having a good time. So I don't know if that's the energy you showed this pet, You know, if your pet was adopted or was harmed or just dealing with some kind of trauma, just sort of this soft, calm, kind of steady, reliable emotional energy you gave them really started to build your bond here. You know, you didn't change your demeanor on them. You know, you were always soft and gentle, soft and gentle, soft and gentle. You didn't suddenly scream at them, stop, right? Maybe that's why they're bringing this up. You know, they've left a place where they were getting the hot, cold, hot, cold, hot, cold, and you don't do that to them. Very steady. So that's why their heart is lighting up here. We saw that too, right? In the first card here, everything's going to their center as they improve their bond here. Okay. So my I love soccer is balance, the black and white. Um, so regaining balance, stability. So there's that stability word again that I wrote down, stable, with this group. You know, their bucket of love is full. You saw that here lighting up. So July is a whole month focused on love, stability, balance, support. We saw that in the first card too. I saw that in the intro right away. I could see the support here. You know, this could be both ways as well. The love, the support, the balance. This could be them helping to give that back to you as well in the month. You know, they're really showering you with love here. Love, love, you know, love, love. The butterfly as well, love. Like any chance they got, they wanted to give you some love here. So I don't know if maybe you're going to see in July also that transition of quiet to, like, you know, always showing you the love, the looking at the face, the curling up, the, you know, the forehead to forehead. You know, all those different ways that animals show us the, you know, their love for us. Now this is confidence. You know, the lion is walking forward, and that's very much the intent here is the walking. You know, slow steps, slow pace. This does come back to also the energy I was getting with this type of animal, like that. I felt like this was just their type of demeanor. You know, if you did take them outside. In the intro, I said that they would just be kind of sitting with you calmly and observing and watching other people. You know, this isn't the kind of pet I think you need to worry about them suddenly getting up and running off on you. But they're also quietly, you know, taking these baby steps closer to you as well. Now, this last charm, this is closure, endings, a new beginning, and they're looking forward to this new beginning. So I feel like that the ending's already happened. And July is part of this new beginning. I think it could just be, like I said, the closure on the trauma with them, right? Because they learn to trust you over time, or they just arrive if it's a pet that you adopted. Yeah, I feel like there's this, like, stepping out, right? Stepping out of this darkness. You know, there was this bright shining light, which was you, right? The new pet parents, the new home. You know, you started to come in and find them, you know, and take them out of this kind of darkness that they're in, right? There's sort of that chill again, right? The ice, the cold, sort of the stuck between hot and cold here again, repeating that message, but there's the message of rescue here. Like, I'm no longer in this environment. At first, I didn't even see these as stars. I thought these were actually birds because I started to see airplanes again. So I definitely feel like in this Earth sign group, there must be at least one or a good number of you for me to keep getting it of this traveling. You know, they had to go pretty far to find the newer, better pet parent here. It could also be length of time if I think of the birds. You know, they're around for 50 some odd years, 30, 40, 50 years plus. So it could just be a significant change for them in terms of finally being out of a tight cage or a completely new home, new family. But there's this warming up, right? Coming out of the chill and warming up. They're recognizing that they're not going back. They've acknowledged that. Maybe that's the milestone for them. July 2025 is the turning point here for them in terms of forgetting their past. They have closure on the past and they're just looking forward now to the future, to this brighter future that you're creating for them, right? Milestone, I said that. July 2025 or 2025 is a milestone turning point for your pets. It does have to do with their world. So this is about feeling complete. My world is complete. I'm not looking or searching for anything else. And then we see that as well in the love charm that they chose here, right? Their heart is doubling in size here, right? You see the dots. You're starting to build that trust. Soon that's going to be a solid heart, and their heart's going to be twice the size in terms of love and affection. Look at them like jumping hoops, right? She just keeps dancing and twirling. I don't know if you'll see that as a behavior of your pet as they start to move out and get into the more warmer, trusting space with you. I don't know if you're going to actually see them start to like chase their tail or do zoomies in a circle or, hang upside down if they're a bird in a cage or, let their kind of head hang off the edge of the couch, right? More relaxed, the lounging kind of vibe that I'm getting here with her. They're not cowering in a corner anymore. They're lounging and hanging off the back of the couch, right, or the windowsill. Well, look at that. We're back to I have everything I need, right? I found my whole home here, my treasure trove, right? I'm in a healing, safe space with the Archangel Raphael colors that they're giving me, and then they have everything that they could ask for and more, right? Look at the abundance of love, food, toys, comfort, fun memories. They're seeing that this is a great space. I love that July your pets are coming into that awareness, right? On their own. They're just doing it because you led with actions. Your actions matched your words over here. Okay. Oh, I did that last time too. I'm trying to not move them. Okay. So then we had a couple just watch outs that I saw in the intro here when they fell. These are my just cautionary charms. So there's a little caution here about a bad influence or bad behavior that might show up again or be a little bit of a nuisance, for them to kind of kick it. Or this could be a new behavior. They're going to test their boundaries a little bit now that they feel comfortable. So what can I get away with? So just a little heads up there. And then here we have a little heads up with regards to potentially some displays of jealousy, take away, keep away, not sharing, and not in a playful way, like coming in and snatching and taking. So there might be some just growing pains here, right? As they start to get even more comfortable with you. And like I said, it feels more like a test the boundaries. Let's see what the new rules are in this new space. Maybe even in terms of watching their personality start to come out, right? As they start to get more comfortable in terms of this little Sebastian here, right? This little poor influence kind of like ease to slip into doing something bad. And then they paired that with magical moments, memories. This is a magical time for them. They're going to be building some new memories, and so will you with them. I think this is going to be, you're going to find some stories in July that you're going to be reminiscing about. You're going to be like, remember when, they had this turning point and we started to really see them blossom, as I see here in the swan, really coming into you seeing their personality here and sort of their uniqueness. I feel like they're trying to jump out of my hand here at you. There's this feeling, like, I feel like as pet parents, you're going to be like, I always knew they were going to have that in them. Like I always knew they had that side of them. I think maybe that's why I connected with them. It felt magical when you crossed paths and met them. Well, I just said unique, so uniqueness. I mean, your pet might be unique in the terms of like who they are. Some animals have lost a limb. Some animals have one eye or have gone fully blind, but they have other kind of unique traits and abilities that you're going to discover, right? Maybe they're going to be like a pro athlete and you're going to find that out, like, wow, they can jump so high. I always knew that they would be like that. There's this cool kind of coming into themselves, right? She's not fully formed yet into any kind of butterfly here. She's just starting to figure out who she is and let herself be seen. It's interesting that they picked a card here where, he's getting blessed. So we have unique gifts that they've been blessed with. But look at it's the pet blessing the pet parent, right? Your pet feels like they've been blessed. They're blessed that you're in their life here. They may be this gentle with you as well, as I go back to that sensation, the energy that I was getting with these earth signs in terms of like that quiet, grounded, reliable, energy, right? He could easily lean into the chest here of his pet dragon and be held. So sort of that comforting, they're going to be a very comforting pet, or they already are a comforting pet. But I feel like they're going to be gentle with you. They'll always kind of paw at you, land on you. If they're licking you, it's more of like a little touch, just a little tap. And maybe that's just because it's in the beginning. He's quite dusty here. It's almost like his skin is flaking off, right? Shedding his former skin. We saw that here with the swan. Magical moment and the milestone year and month, right? He's leaving his former self behind, and his true self is coming forward. But a beautiful message here to end on in terms of them feeling blessed to have you in their life. I don't know if that's language you've used. Like, I don't know if you've actually looked them in eye to eye and was like, I'm so blessed to have you in my life, because I feel like they're sharing back the same message to you that they've received. Yeah, very, very nice message here. Very nice connection, strengthening a bond, and your pet breaking out and showing that next evolution, that next characteristic trait of their personality with you, kind of letting you start to see their wholeness here, all of them. So let's check in August and let's see how your progress has been doing, and then we'll look ahead of what's on deck for your pet in August.